Hello and welcome to the Super Important Show. I am one of your hosts, Justin Diodato. I have two others with me, but first I want to tell you what's on tonight's show. We have an old lady who's just hugging people and stealing stuff. And somebody's got the audio. Plus, we have dentists that are consciously trying to hurt you. We have election stuff that we have like a weird elections happening in Pennsylvania that I'm super excited to tell you about. We'll discover that it's Respect Your Cat Day, which is insane. And we have a bunch of Would You Rathers. But now that you know all that, let's meet the other people that we have on the show. First up, let's meet Miss Heather Jules Booth. Heather, how are you?
I'm great. I'm ready to dive in, ready to respect some cats.
Awesome. I'm ready to disrespect some cats, so we'll see what happens.
Wow.
We have our...
Wow. Starting it off on a good note.
Right. I mean, days don't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. And we have our guest host, Anoush Froundjian. How are you?
Anoush,
great. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I see you have the easel behind you, like fully getting into the artist mentality, ready to paint at any moment.
Welcome to the workshop.
Anoush, tell people a little about you. What's your story?
Yeah, I'm an illustrator. I'm a storyteller. Done storytelling at the Moth, shows all over the city. Currently live in Connecticut. My husband and I moved 2 years ago, and so far, so very good.
Cool. Well, welcome to the show. Chat's already getting mad at me about cats. So we should probably just get into this thing already. Heather, do you want to kick us off with a little word you crazy?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. I'm very grateful that Dustin gave me this story because the story just tickles me. An elderly woman dubbed the Hugging Bandit is pickpocketing victims after pretending to know them. This story takes place in, say it with me now, Florida, where a woman is accused of pickpocketing strangers by pretending she knows them while she gives them a hug. It is a woman named Kathy Stevens. She is nicknamed the Hugging Bandit by police. She's being held in jail with more than a dozen charges from the Clearwater Police Department and other law enforcement agencies, so not just Clearwater. She is 65 years old, so it's not like we're talking about a 20-something who's like, yeah, this is a 65-year-old lady who has figured out her game. She targets older men. She approaches them outside stores, acts like she knows them, and then gives them an unwanted hug and steals items from their pockets. An example of this is that apparently in October, she walked up to somebody, gave them a hug, reached into their back pants pocket. The victim later realized that their credit card was missing. Not even the wallet, a credit card from the wallet.
That's baller. This baller that she was just she took.
So the victim says that the card was in a position to be easily accessible, which is like, okay, put your card back in your wallet, but still, like, yeah. It says that the Stevens immediately spent $1,000 on that stolen credit card. She's also connected to 4 other incidents in the Clearwater area. That is it's what she's done, and I think Dustin, you have I got a photo of this.
Yeah, I got
this cunning lady.
Yeah, this is.
She is
her on the way out.
That Target bag ready to get you.
Yeah. We also have a mugshot, which is.
Yep.
Like. I'll be honest. I don't feel like this screams elderly to me. This feels like older, but not like elderly. When I think elderly, I think like 80s.
Is 65 actually elderly? I don't know that it's actually considered elderly.
Right.
The article says it is.
The article says elderly.
The media is, an age-hating thing.
Right.
So I don't think that that's really elderly. I don't start thinking, like 80s would be.
I'm still thinking her way of doing this, like hugging. I'm surprised that it worked. I feel I'm surprised because I feel like if someone were going to trick you into thinking that they knew you, they kind of say, "Oh, hi, hey," or something like that. I don't know if that would help you in the stealing of the thing, but it would probably get you build some kind of trust instead of just like, getting someone to say, hey, get off me or something,
It gets you proximity, which is what you need.
For me, this is such a, like, not a New York thing, because I think, like, as a New Yorker, if somebody were to come up and try to hug me,
don't you just like push them away immediately?
Oh my God, I will push them away. I would scream obscenities at them, like, or I would like do the thing where like you see someone come at you and you like duck.
Right.
But neither, at no point is someone going to walk up to me and go, hey, you, and I'm going to be like, oh my God, yes, let's hug. Like,
but don't you think there's an inverse proportion to age in terms of like, if a person is like 25 and they try and hug you, you're going to be like, no. But if a person's like 100 and they try and hug you, you're going to be like, all right, what am I going to?
I grew up here, I trust no one. So no.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I can't.
I just, if I don't recognize you, if I don't know you, do not touch me.
All right.
I feel like, and also hugs, even just with people that there are times and places for those. So, I mean, if you don't recognize the person, if you don't recognize the person, actually, that goes, it says a lot. Like, if someone suggested that they knew me, never mind the hug, I'd just be so flattered. I'd be like, yeah, let's talk more. Yeah. And then, I don't know, I just think there's more of a strategy with being friendly than to just like plain hug. But then again, it might be the New York thing, Heather. You're right.
I think so. I think it must be. I think so. Because I feel like, oh man, I'm not going to get into stereotypes, but I also feel like Florida is known for like its population of older people who, I feel like you're not going to automatically assume like, they're retirees. You're probably not thinking like, oh, this older woman's going to come up and hug me and like steal my stuff. I still would not let her hug me.
I still would not want to hug them.
No, I would still be like, get the fuck away from me. But
I mean,
maybe I wouldn't say that out loud, but in New York, I would.
Yeah, I do want to give some love to the chat. The chat's got some strong opinions here. First, we'll start off with Justin from last week's show and from Anoush.
Oh my God,
Randy Larson, and also encouraging the Florida representation. Michelle's pointing out 65 is not elderly. I agree with you. 65 is not elderly. Julia agrees with her, as does Joy. I don't know what this comment means, but I'm going to throw it up anyway because Julia agreed with it. If Julia hugs you, I don't know where that's coming from, but I will go with it. And since she didn't fight it, I will bring up her thing. Another person's mentioning that she's 100% done to Jam with the Pit. That is probably true.
I think that is very accurate.
Yes. And Julia pointing out that it is the new age Artful Dodger.
Yeah.
Which I know more from being a mediocre bar in Huntington, New York, Long Island than I do from the actual story.
Bar named itself the Artful Dodger. What a terrible name.
Really?
That's what.
So you've gone all the way to Huntington, Long Island.
Well, I lived in Northport. So I didn't.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't like leave Manhattan to go to the Artful Dodger in Huntington and then come back.
I can't wait to go to those Long Island bars.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys know.
I'm not, and I wasn't making fun. I wasn't.
I mean, you were, but okay.
You can.
But I mean, I've gone to Huntington to go to like bookshops and things. It's worth.
R.I.P. book review. Yeah.
But and I've heard of great like galleries near Huntington too. So it's just kind of like a hike. But depending on where you are, I'm saying
right.
Anyway,
right. For me, when I went there, it was 12 minutes away. It was like the bar that you went to when you came back from Thanksgiving after college, or while you were in college. Like that was the bar that you went to.
The town I grew up in was bars. It was all bars. That would be just after Thanksgiving, come home and. So I had no idea. So nice to meet you in this way, Dustin.
Yes. Heather, do we have anything else that we want to talk about this hugging bandit, or do we want to move on to Anoush's story?
No, I don't think I have anything else. I'm just marveling at. I leave us with this. I would love to know when did this plan hatch? And that's all I'm thinking. Just like, when did this plan hatch? When was she like, hey, I'm really good at pickpocketing?
Or maybe I'm really good at hugging. Like,
Oh.
I'm really good at this.
Maybe
This
that's
is my
it.
thing.
One day she was hugging people and she was like, huh, it's weird. My hand just got their wallet. It's so crazy. Weird.
I just enjoyed the symmetry of our last show and this show, in that we started our last show with like, here's an old lady who's just like amazing, and this was like, hey, here's an old lady who is a criminal, and like, watch out for her. So
look, they're both achieving things, just at different ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And if they get together, like, one could steal it and then hand it off to the old lady, and then you'd easily catch the old lady because she's 105.
Well, and the other old lady would be like, listen, I'm not winning these awards anymore because I'm getting out of the age bracket. And the one would be like, I will steal the awards for you. What happened?
It's nice when you can find someone that works with you, you know?
Jumping back into chat for a minute, and then we'll move on. Your choices are Florida, where you get hugged and robbed, or New York, where you get pushed to death on a subway platform. That's true, but you can be. I feel like it's easier to avoid the push to death than the granny. I think personally, I feel like if an old lady tried to hug me, I would personally have a hard time like giving her the Heisman. But I mean, you guys don't, so you know.
Nah.
And we got compliment on our great Long Island talk. You know, it's like it's a weird place that merits conversation. Anoush, let's move on to you, because we've feel like we've covered this.
So I'm here to tell the story of a dentist in Wisconsin who is convicted of breaking patients' teeth or drilling patients' teeth, and then suggesting that they get crowns and then charging them for the crowns. So his sentencing is in June. Mm-hmm. So and he has made millions by doing this. So I'll just kind of walk you through the scheme. So he would let's see. So his name is what's his name? Last name is Sharmali, and he would kind of take X-rays, and then he would explain that while he was working on the teeth, he would drill the teeth, as I was saying, break them, and then say, well, just to give you a little more background on crowns, you know, this is what we will be doing, and asking the patients, you know, kind of, you know, being as sincere as possible and getting them to agree to have this procedure done. And this is how he made his living. Right. And I think Dustin has a photo of the dentist.
He looks so trustworthy.
And he looks so trustworthy. And
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Is it the teeth?
No, I don't like his face. Look at him. It's his eyes.
I don't like his face, but I mean, like, I would. He looks like he could be a. You're right. I don't know.
He takes a drop-in class.
But the thing that kind of scares me the most is I feel like after this year, I would totally, like, he would totally have gotten me. I feel like, because this year, you know, I've gone to a doctor, you know, you go to doctor, we're going to doctors more now. I mean, now we're kind of in a new stage of the pandemic. So I kind of feel safer to go. And the dentist's office has always been the easiest one to go to, because they'd be like, oh, hey, come back on this date. We'll have this all patched up for you. And I'd go and just be like, great. It's not like a doctor who's like, oh, you know, we're going to need you to have to stop doing this habit that you secretly love so much, or like quit smoking or quit this. Everything's a process. But with a dentist, you're like, put that piece of ceramics in my mouth and let's be done. And it's just so satisfying. But so June 17th, his sentencing is then, not around my birthday, but you know, you feel like there's so many other things going on in June that's not just about you, you know?
Like, not, you know, just throw it in there, give me a present. That's all I'm saying is.
But it's horrifying, but it's also really great to know that he's been convicted.
Yeah. I guess I saw that, like, I think it was because he sold his practice, and the new people were just like, hey, what the fuck is this? Like,
because he was taking X-rays after, like, starting the procedures, apparently. Which I'm not a dentist, but apparently that's like not normal.
Yeah.
He'd point out a faint line during the X-rays. It would be a healthy tooth, and then it's like, oh, but we're gonna have to work on this. And then when he'd kind of be in that process, he would then work on it, break it, and then discover that you need a crown.
Mm-hmm. Jumping into the chat for a minute, Julia's pointing out this is why I invite all medical professions. That is a fair comment. I mean, we shouldn't do that, but I also get it. When I had my weird like appendix thing, the doctor came to me and said like, hey, take all, like Colace and all these different things. And I was like, that had nothing to do with it. Like, it cleared me out, but it had nothing to do with it. It was a complete waste of time. Maybe I didn't want to be all that clear. Michelle's pointing out, oh, it's like improv school system, but instead with your teeth, yes, you just keep on paying and paying and paying, and at best you end up in a normal
and somebody
place.
tells you something's broken too. They're like, it's that little scene you just did, it's broken.
Yeah.
And it also like it makes you think that if you disagree with something, like you can disagree with your doctor. Maybe you're not wrong if you disagree with your doctor.
Right.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a battle though, because it's like they're like, well, like I know better than you. It's like, no, did you go to school? Like, like I agree with you. Like I want to disagree with them, but at the same time, I always have that like I don't know. Like I had a friend who always said that he wanted to be awake during like a medical procedure, and I was like, no, what do you think you can help?
Wow.
Like you can't help. Like. Get knocked out. Wake up a second later. It's beautiful.
Because you didn't trust. Yeah, because are you kidding? It's the best sleep of your life.
Yeah.
When they put you under. Oh my God. I have gone to the dentist this year. So, and I've had, I've had not like nothing crazy, but they had to give me Novocaine. I was so excited. It was just so relaxing. The whole side of my jaw. I mean, I came back. I had like. My R's looked dumb when I pronounced anything with an R. I looked like an idiot, but I felt amazing on my right side. Just it's the most relaxed I've been,
Julia, thank you for backing me up for saying that my friend is insane. I will quote you on that. He is insane. I don't know what is wrong with him. He is a weird dude. I know, like, I was mild, like, I appreciated, but I was mildly insulted when I had the appendix thing, when the nurse was like, he doesn't drink very often, does he? To Joy. And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, because he's not used to getting this, like, wasted when I came out of, like, the stuff. And I was like, I guess not. But, like my nurse just called me a lightweight. Like,
yeah, like you're a cheap date or something. Like, something like...
What's that?
Kind of like, how they say, oh, you're such a cheap date.
Yes, I'm a cheap anesthetic. I guess you'd call it. Morning Rose pointing out that I have weird friends. I do have weird friends. They're almost all universally weird people. But thank you for pointing that out.
I should just say, Dustin did a really great one-person show that I saw a couple of years ago. Was it? It had to have been a couple of years ago now. But when you were your appendix, the story of your appendix being taken out was a piece of it.
No, that was the appendix thing was more recent. That was when I had to get a camera in a place that.
My apologies.
Cameras shouldn't go
because I'm thinking of a different procedure. My apologies.
Yeah, no,
but it was such a good show that I think about that, and this is. My apologies to, there's also a terrific story about spaghetti and meatballs at a diner. I will always think of spaghetti and meatballs at a diner. So if that's just vague for the audience, if that's too vague, that would just mean that you have to perform that amazing show.
Thank you. Yes.
Again.
I will try once like people come to shows again. I will definitely try and do it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then since I control what we're saying on social media, I'm going to point out that Michelle seconded that and said it was a great show. So again, I will quote all of you people, and I will try and do it again and use this clip as a way to convince theaters to do it. Is there anything else you want to cover on this, or should we move on to our next story?
Let's move on to Yeah, my mouth is. I'm already thinking of like teeth breaking, so we should probably think of something.
Okay. Cool. So then that would be me. So normally on this show, when we go to like World You Crazy, more often than not, we're like pointing out somebody who's very weird or somebody who we need to call attention to, like you're insane. In this case, this next story is not that. This next story is about a person who I'm putting here because I appreciate what they are doing. I'm not endorsing this candidate because I don't know enough about this candidate to fully endorse them, but I'm saying that I find it interesting. So this story is about with the title Elect Host, should pretty much give it away. Alexandra Hunt is a candidate running for the 3rd District in Philadelphia. And she is running under what she is calling an extreme transparency campaign. Because when she was when she was in college, she went the route like that you see in movies of a person who like works as a stripper to pay for college. And she used it to pay for college and then wanted to get her master's in public health. And now she is running for office. And she kind of had that fear of, hey, like, people are going to attack me. And she's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, she came out and she said that she stripped through college and that's what she had to do. And we should protect sex workers more. And that should be part of her platform. She also came out and said, hey, she had an abortion at 18. And it was difficult, but the right choice for her. And it allowed her to do all these other things. And I think a lot of the other candidates wanted to attack her, and she, seems sort of unattackable in that sense by deciding to go for that sort of extreme, here's what's happening. So one of her slogan is Elect Hose, which is why that's what the title is there. I did not come up with that. I am not trying to be dismissive of her. She sells shirts that say Elect Hose. And she has another one that said, I may have danced for money in college, but I'm not a corporate whore. And I appreciate both of those things. For folks who are wondering what she looks like, this is her, Alexandra Hunt. Seems like a badass lady and
nice.
Like
red power suit. I like it.
Yeah. I'm not sure where she is there, but yeah, I just like, kind of just wanted to just point her out because I feel like it's really interesting that somebody's sort of taking that, like, fuck it. Like the world is a crazy place and people have to do things. And like, let's stop shaming people for having to pay for college. Like having to pay for college is hard. This was a way to do it. And she points out in telling the story of like, hey, I was in danger a lot. You know?
That's what I was thinking the whole time while you were talking. I'm sorry.
No, continue.
Because it's not like she had a ball. It's not like she had a ball stripping and now she's also, and because I mean, when you're, depending on where I'm not, I have friends who have worked who have done, it's unsafe because you just don't know who's there. You don't know who's in your audience.
Right.
And you're kind of defending yourself no matter, when you're on stage, but I don't know, when you're walking home after the show, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you don't know who's following you, who thinks they're falling in love with you while they're, so, now that she's achieved this, she's like fighting more people, a new group of people that are against her,
Right. And she had pointed out actually that like, because of the stigma associated with it, that she's like sort of trying to overcome now. When she was in college, she didn't tell anyone that that's how she was paying for college. So it put her in that much more danger because nobody knew where she was going or what she was doing. And she sort of points out, she's like, I could have disappeared and nobody would have known where to look for me because the only people that knew that I worked there were the people like who worked there, But like if you went to her friends or her parents, they would have no idea. The whole thing is like, I dig her. Just jumping over to social for a second. Julie's asking, saying, this is awesome. Where can we support her campaign? I believe it is just alexandrahunt.com or something along those lines. Like she is the person that comes up when you type in Alexandra Hunt. So, or you can, like put in any of those slogans or whatever, and the Electo's the other thing, and it will come up. And you can buy a shirt, you can donate to her campaign, you can do all that stuff. She is, what was it? Yeah, I mean, she's, where is it? She got her master's at Temple University in 2002. I just want to make sure to give some additional facts on her. Yeah, I was supposed to have all the different things that she stands for, but they were all basically like things if you were on the left side of the political spectrum, you are on board with. Women's rights, on equal pay, like a lot of the things that people just as human beings should fight for. So yeah, so that's Alexandra. I recommend, if you are in Philadelphia and in the 3rd district, check her out. The primaries are happening in May, so now's the time. Morning Roast pointing out that yes, I did strip through college. No, I could not have stripped through college because when I was in college, I weighed literally 70 pounds less than I do right now.
There's a market for everything, Dustin.
No, like I don't think there are that many people that are attracted to male ribs, and that's what was happening at the time.
Male ribs?
Yeah, I don't think anybody finds male ribs sexually attractive, so I don't think I would have made it.
Maybe, I don't know.
What's that?
I said Buffalo Bill, maybe.
Yeah, but like that makes it a very risky proposition. So.
I don't know how I don't know if ribs are either gender are, but no. I hear you, Justin. I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Everyone's got a thing, Dustin.
Yeah,
you would have ranked it in with somebody. I was saying,
there's always an audience. There's an audience. Don't be afraid.
An audience.
Yeah,
always an audience.
Right. I went to college in Geneseo, though, so there was like. So if you assume that like 1% of the population is always going to be into something, like it still was a very small number of people that I had the option of being into something, and I probably did not want to meet those people ever. So anyway, that's my story.
Wow.
Anything else?
Dustin gets a letter from. Yeah.
Do we want to move on to our what day is today?
I think we're ready. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Let us do it. Heather, why don't you kick us off?
I'm so excited to kick us off. Today, March 28th, is National Respect Your Cat Day. Mm-hmm. It is a day to celebrate your feline best friend. Literally, that is it. It is the day to celebrate your feline best friend. This article suggests things like playing with their favorite toy, giving them a new toy, buying them a new scratching post, brushing them, all the things cats love. They didn't say this in the article, but I think they should have said feeding your cat more, because that is a thing that cats really, really enjoy.
Michelle pointing out her cat wishes to inform you that every day should be Respect Your Cat Day. I
agree. Listen, I'm delighted that there is a specific day that we're calling this out, but this is true. These are all the things that if you love a cat, you are respecting the cat every day. This is that's a normal thing. Super
Heather, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a cat, but you respect cats, is there a way that you can celebrate? You could still celebrate.
I think you can still celebrate. I think find a cat video that you really like, and you can respect the cat that way.
All right. Yeah. So here's where I'm going to get letters from Michelle's cat. Here's why I'm against Respect Your Cat Day. Because you have to give respect to get respect. And if there's anything I've learned about cats, is that cats don't respect anyone. Cats do not respect anyone or anything. They think they are better than everything, as pointed out by Michelle's cat, already being aggressive. So I don't think it's hard for me to say, yes, I will respect that cat, because that cat hates me and it doesn't even know me. That's my opinion.
Even a kitten?
Yeah, I mean, kittens are adorable, but like, I'll respect a kitten, but I'm not respecting a cat, because a cat doesn't care about you. It doesn't show you any respect, and therefore it doesn't get any respect. That's my feeling.
You're wrong. You're completely wrong.
What?
100%
How am I
wrong.
wrong? How am I wrong? Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Cat at you, bro. Get cat at you. Cats show love and respect in numerous ways. Cats give you what you give them. If you treat a cat like shit, then the cat's going to treat you like shit. And from what I understand, dogs are similar. That like dogs kind of pick up the mood of their owners, but cats are they're very loving. They're very respectful. They're very friendly.
And that purr is honest. Like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to earn the purr. They're not going to just purr for anything. You got to earn the purr.
Okay. We got.
See, cats are. You think cats aren't respecting you because you're going into it with that like sort of like you're walking. Your cat takes it. Yeah, this is accurate. Yeah. You walk in and you give a cat that look that you're just like, okay, buddy, whatever, and that cat's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're gonna give me that? Okay, well, fuck you, buddy.
I'm nice to cats. I'm nice to cats. They just don't care.
Like, you think you're nice to cats. You're approaching cats with this same. You're like, yeah, I'm real nice to cats. Yeah, hey cat, what's up, cat?
That's like you have to go into something with your heart open. Like you have to believe in love in order to.
Yeah, exactly.
I do believe in love. I do. It's just
I don't believe you.
I mean, we've talked about this on the show before. Cats aren't even fully like domesticated. They're just like, hey, you feed me, so like I'll be okay with you. But that's it. Like that's my. I'll jump over to chat because I'm already like. I'm already gonna get letters.
You're digging yourself deeper than a shit in a litter box.
Yeah. Michelle's pointing out that her cat is typing away furiously. Julia's, I believe, disagreeing with me. Morning Roast has given us the Venmo name for the cat so that we can Venmo the cat money.
That's an accurate. Yeah.
Cats respect those who respect themselves. Male ribs. Listen, I know. I know what those ribs were, and I know that they did not deserve respect at the time. Cats look back at your emotions. You give them not necessarily. That's what I'm saying. I think sometimes cats are just like, I mean, dogs too. Like any animal could just sort of be aggressive, but I'm just saying that like there are cats who are just like not very nice. Michelle's cat demands Venmo. Just jumping through all of these. Earn the purr. If we could get that trending with everybody in chat.
I will help you do that as best as I can.
Yes.
Heather, thank you.
You're welcome.
And now that is Rubus's Venmo. So cool. Before I forget, because I forget every single time. If you're watching this, because you are, and you're watching this, or if you're watching it later, please take a moment to like and subscribe. That helps us. That helps us just a ton. I even made a new graphic for it, like and subscribing. We are at 96 subs at the moment. And if we can get to 100 subs, then we can get our own URL. I'm counting on you guys. We need just 4 more. Just 4 of you are sitting in the chat. Please, or let other people around you know. That would make it really good. Don't tell your cats about it because they are gonna unsubscribe.
What if they have Instagrams? They'll subscribe.
Okay. I mean,
you gotta like and follow the cat back. See, it's the mutual respect.
Yeah,
right, I would.
None of this.
Yeah, you can't just be like, hey cat, subscribe. Like you gotta be like, hey cat, here's a can of wet food. I will like and subscribe to your page. And the cat is like, great, I will also like and subscribe to your page.
Before we get too much further, there's another part of this day. We've covered the cat part.
There is another part of this day. This day is crazy. I didn't know this day existed. This day is called National Something on a Stick Day.
Ooh.
That is not a joke. It is a day. It is a food holiday to indulge in, this is what it says, your creative talents by putting a stick in just about anything. Sure. Okay. Think of all those foods that you can poke a stick in.
Well, I know that kind of like that. I mean, that sounds really like not unpleasant on one level, like because you're thinking of like cooked foods that you like kebab things of the kebab persuasion. But what you can also think of, which may be like less like I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie Mermaids, starring Cher and Christina Ricci and Winona Ryder. So one of the parts of that movie, which maybe not a lot of people remember because it has nothing to do with mermaids, Halloween parties, Cher. Is that she was a bad cook, and she was she wasn't like a mom-ish kind of cook. Her dinners would be like kebabs, but they would be marshmallows and gummy candies, all on a kebab stick, like on a skewer. Yay!
I'd take that.
And there would be shots of these skewers with like, just think of like those peach O's, those gummy peach O's, and like Swedish fish and marshmallows, but like shish kebab. That was incredibly exciting to me as a child. So I would celebrate merely for that, but like not poking your dinner, not poking like a nice dinner that someone made for you with a stick just because of a day. That's my long. That's my.
Okay.
Well, this I think that this article disagrees, because this article says that you should observe it with things like a grilled pear on a stick, meat and cheese squares. How about a brownie? How about French toast? I'm literally looking at this. I'm like, this is ridiculous. The article wants you to know, don't serve soup. There you go. Don't serve soup. And then it ends it by saying, put your phone on a stick.
Boo. Boo.
So that.
How do you feel about it, Heather? Are you grossed out?
That's what they want you to know. Yeah.
And Justin's pointing out that anything can fit on a stick with effort, which is true, but not always good. The thing is, like, ultimately, the thing you're pointing out, Heather, like, if you go to I'm going to say fancy party, but I'm just going to say fancy party for the sake of fancy party, and they have like hors d'oeuvres. Lots of hors d'oeuvres are on a stick.
On sticks.
Yeah. That way, like, you can just grab one easily. So just make
it feels sanitary. So
right.
So today, make it like it's a fancy party day. That's all we're saying.
Now, Heather, I just have a question, like a technicality. Just to, is it celebrate by having a food that is traditionally on a stick, or is it poke the food with a stick because that's what today is?
It seems like the implication of this national day is just if you can get a stick through it, you should, because that's the day.
It's not like have a delicious, good humor.
No, I think it's literally like, hey, can that thing have a stick put in it? Do it. That seems to be what the day is.
Cool.
Yeah.
You want to move on to Anoush?
I think
sure.
So.
Well, although I can keep on talking about marshmallows as shish kebab forever. So today, I don't know. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so today, March 30th. So we have a couple of days to prepare. Is National I Am in Control Day. Mm-hmm. So it is observed annually on March 30th, and it's commemorated for two reasons. First, to encourage people to take control of their lives, which I would like to celebrate every day with a passion. And second, it was because of the assassination attempt made on the president of the U.S. on March 30th in 1981, who was it was Reagan. So the then Secretary of State Alexander Haig took control of the situation when the attempt was made, and while answering questions in a press briefing, uttered the famous words, "I am in control." So you have the choice of celebrating it for either reasons. I think both really work. This is fascinating to me because I feel like I'd like to be in control all the time, every day. And I wouldn't say I'm a control freak or I need to have control, but it's a lovely way to feel encouraged that, hey, you're doing fine. So
yeah. I tend to celebrate, I would choose to celebrate the first part of it. Not the association part of it, but like you said, the part of it where you're taking control of your life. But it's such a weird thing because, like, I mean, at one point to some degree, you can only control your own life, and to some degree, like,
right.
there's an infinite number of factors that make it impossible to control your own life. So it's like such a weird day. But I really just like
I mean, you know what's one thing that you can control, Dustin?
What?
Not assassinating.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you hope.
Yeah.
You can control it, but you don't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows?
Right. You can't make any specific promises.
You can control setting your alarm to get up at a certain time, and putting enough gas in the car, and making sure you have an idea of what of what you're going to cook later, or what you're going to do, what plans are later for the family, or.
But isn't there an inherent problem with this day in the sense of if we all celebrate I'm in control day on the same day, then no one's in control because everyone's in control. So, like, shouldn't we have a rotating day of, like, hey, everybody with at least, like, the first initial A, you're in control on that day. So at least you're not competing against 7 billion people simultaneously. Like, it gets destroyed by its own success, is my point. Like, it only works if only a handful of people know it. But everybody who's watching right now knows about it, so we can take control over everybody else on March 30th. And they will know that we are in control.
So, see, I feel like the idea of control, well, I feel like different people's idea of control would be different. So some people might say, oh, hey, control might be just planning my day, my own day. And other people might think of control as like, how am I going to control the world? Or how am I going to have control over someone else? I don't know. It's a big day. It's a lot going on.
I did.
That's
just jumping into chat for a minute. Morning Roast points out you can't control how much you respect cats, and I do. I do control how much I respect that, and it's not as much as apparently everybody else on this conversation goes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to keep.
But I mean, also the idea of having control would be like if I did go see that dentist in Wisconsin, and he told me that I will need to have this, and this repaired, or else my teeth will break more. I'd probably, before getting all horrified from the what he's telling me, I'd probably say, I don't know if I'd say, Anoush, you're in control, but that whole idea of the fact that you are in control can be like, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to be coerced into this immediately. I need to know exactly where you're coming from. And maybe that like small little fight that you put up I'm just so mad that this guy got away with breaking all those teeth. I'm trying to like bring it back.
You're still working up at it?
Yeah, it's just June, you guys, June 17th.
Yeah. Do we want to move on to Little Red Wagon Day? Because we still got a lot of show left.
Little Red Wagon Day. Wait till you hear about this. So Little Red Wagon, March 30th will also be known as History of Little Red Wagon Day. So Little Red Wagon is a vivid part of every childhood. Bright, small. I don't know if you had a Little Red Wagon. I don't think I did. Maybe I had one of my cousins had to have had one. But the history of the Little Red Wagon dates back to 1917, which is way before the company that even named that its parent company, Radio Flyer, created it. And the founder, Antonio Passan, was a carpenter who made phonograph cabinets and used a small wagon to store his tools. And as it caught the eye of many, people were intrigued by this little wagon, and the demand of the small cart originally used as a toolbox led Passan to begin manufacturing the wagons. So the first name of Passan's newfound company in 1923. So like the first one was 1917. So by the time it was 1923 was the Liberty Coaster Company. So picking up the pace, it was named Radio Steel and Manufacturing in 1930. So this day exists to commemorate childhood memories, something that, if not all of us have some connection to, we kind of have a connection to. So I guess your childhood and being carefree and being led somewhere new, and that feeling that you got.
Yeah.
So there's a day for that.
I have this weird relationship with Little Red Wagons in the sense of like, so I don't think I particularly had one, but I know a lot of people. I knew like people that did. But if you add up all of the times that I saw like a Little Red Wagon, and then you compare it to one other day in my life, they get dwarfed. In that when I had my bachelor party, if you want to call it that, like we went to, rather than going to like, you know, like a strip club or something like that, we went to a NASCAR race. So we rented an RV and we like parked in the RV parking lot the night before, went to the race, and then drove home. And I saw more Little Red Wagons that day than I ever have in my entire life, because people would bring them and just fill them up with beer and walk around with like mountains of beer. So like when I think of Little Red Wagon, I think of just heaps of beer and people in, you know, in Tony Stewart or whatever that guy's name was, you know, various NASCAR jerseys and stuff like that. Like But I have stopped thinking of it necessarily as a child thing and thought of it as a very drunk NASCAR fan thing. So I don't have that same connection. But if you are a very drunk NASCAR person, then you probably really love Little Red Wagons, and that's another thing that you can celebrate for that day.
I think about, I don't know if I had a Little Red Wagon. I can't remember. I'm sure there was a cousin who had one. I can't remember who. But you start thinking of like things that were on wheels that were around when you were a kid. If not a Little Red Wagon, what was that? Probably skateboards. I had uncles with a lot of skateboards. Roller skates. Yeah, it was either that, and you know, there'd be a motorcycle parked in the garage that you were only allowed to sit on. But Little Red Wagons, it was more like something you saw on TV. Or something you saw.
I never had a red wagon. I never saw red wagons. Like the only place I saw them was through media.
Right.
Like I think is it Radio Flyer? Is that what it's called? I feel like that's the first thing that made me like see the concept of a red wagon.
I mean, the idea of one just feels really picturesque, and it feels like perfect, like a kid wearing Oshkosh Bagosh overalls being pulled around with a little, I don't know, a little juice box in his arm, you know, or something. I guess
I went on a hayride when I was a kid, so that's like a wagon.
Yeah.
It's not a red one, though.
A big one.
Big one, yeah.
Morning Roast asking if
March 30th. That's like coming up.
Rollerblades, Little Red Wagon in 1984, probably yes. In that I had rollerblades in 1994, and I did not have a Little Red Wagon, but I was also weird. So, cool. All right, let's keep on moving, because like I said, we still have a bunch of show. All right, so I'm gonna practically just I'm putting it here because you have to, because you can't say April 1st without saying April Fool's Day. Mm-hmm. And this is, in every other version of this, we say celebrate that day, except for maybe my thing with the cat. But in every other version, we say celebrate that day. I'm saying we're done with April Fools. Is that your opinion, or you feel that we should be done, or we are done? I feel like we should be done. I feel like at this point, we know what's coming. Okay, here's what April Fools feels like to me, and maybe this is going to speak to me being stuck up or whatever you want to call it. But
You said it.
Right, I know, and because Chat was gonna. April Fool's feels like the day that like non-comedians get to pretend that they're funny by lying to you about something that's not funny. Like there are two things that happen on April Fool's. Like people make bad, awful jokes, or companies pretend that they're gonna put out a product that you're like, oh, that's awesome, and then no, we're not. Like, so those are the only two things that happen on April Fool's Day as far as I'm concerned, and I feel like we're done. Like, once I stop being, like, 7 and gullible, like, then it just became tiresome. So I'm going to encourage us not to celebrate April Fool's Day, but I feel like you guys might disagree because I'm getting, like, looks like, what is wrong with this guy?
Heather, I'll let you go first. I don't want to just jump in. I'm like ready to talk, but I don't want to be.
I love April 1st. It's my wedding anniversary. So.
Oh my God.
A great day.
Right, but do you want to celebrate April Fool's on that day?
I got married on April 1st, so I'm going to let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
I am a troll, Dustin. Yes.
All right. I should have given you that one then. I apologize. I didn't realize the significance of it.
Oh no. That's all good. I could have said something and I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've never been a person to do like, I was never somebody who did like the weird, like, or like the silly, predictable, like stuff where you're like, I would never be mean spirited with April Fool's Day. Like, I was never somebody who wanted to do anything mean spirited. I will admit I delight in those dumb product things that like companies send. I guess I'm the market for it. I think they're hilarious. I always laugh at them. I'm always like, this is so dumb. It tickles me.
Now,
and
Michelle,
yeah, I love April. I mean, like I said, I love April Fool's Day. We got married on an April Fool's Day. So. Okay,
but I mean, but that's like, I guess my question is, did you get married because it was April Fool's Day, or did you?
Absolutely.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right, then. That I will.
Absolutely. How great was it to change the Facebook status on that day and have people be like, ha ha ha, really funny. And then we were like, no, suckers.
That's so weird. But,
it's okay.
Yeah, Joy is saying,
wow, my cats are not respecting you. The respect was just like,
no,
did not earn the purr.
That's definitely going to be a hashtag now. What about you? What about you, Anoush? Do you have an equally? Did I equally insult you and everything that you care about in my saying that I don't?
No. I'm not a prank person. Or I mean, I like a show. I like a spectacle. I like a showstopper. Pranks? I don't know. I'm not, but I haven't, maybe the right prank just hasn't come, or I don't know. But I've also associate a lot of pranks with the mean-spirited ones, as Heather was talking about before. So, I mean, maybe my idea of a prank, maybe I just hadn't met the right prank, maybe I'm,
Cool.
I haven't met the right prank. I like that.
So let's go on to the other day. And I don't know, I've already managed to offend everybody, so I might be offended. I feel like this one isn't going to offend anybody.
How is this going to be offensive? This is weird.
Right. I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I just offended somebody. I may have just offended somebody with that.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to happen somehow. But as far as I can tell, Edible Book Day, of the days that we have done so far, is one of the dumbest. Like, because you go through, like, how do you celebrate this? And it started out with, like...
How do you eat a book?
Right. Find a place that sells edible books was their first suggestion, and then go eat that book. Or make a book that you can eat, were your two suggestions of the day. And those are not things that are, like... Because they're not saying, hey, go eat A Tale of Two Cities. Because that would be dangerous. They're saying, go find places that make edible books and eat them. You have to come up with
your own book.
Or make your own book. Yes. Yeah. I am not like
no, there's a festival for this.
Really?
Yeah,
I just went to Google because I'm like fascinated by this, and apparently there is a festival for this. What?
What do the books look like?
The picture that I'm seeing is a copy of Where the Wild Things Are, but I guess it's edible. I don't know how, but I guess it is.
Yeah, so I'm just saying you got to be real hardcore to celebrate Edible Book Day. Like,
yeah,
if you want like that, I guess that's partially why we're telling you now. We're giving you a year to go, like, write it down in your calendar now that April 1st is Edible Book Day, and like go try and find one. Or conceivably, Edible Book Day is an April Fool's joke that we just don't know about because nobody really has edible books. But just think about that on April 1st when you're reading your book. Decide if you want to eat it, and go from there. That's what I got.
It looks like it's people baking. They're baked goods that are made to look like cakes, and then you eat them.
I think
Sounds like you're eating just a cake still.
Not according to the first part of it. I mean, maybe people have come with that. Morning Rose pointing out A Tale of Two Cities tastes like sadness and despair. It does. That book made, like, of all the books I had to read in school, that one was the one that drove me nuts. It's partially because I waited till like the last week to read it, and then trying to read all of A Tale of Two Cities in a week when you're in high school breaks your brain. You can't do it. Don't try and do it. There's a warning to
Maybe
everybody.
you didn't eat enough. Maybe you had an empty stomach and you were lightheaded. You should have just eaten the book.
I could have just eaten the book, and then I would have had to pay for it like a jerk. Cool. Those are my days. Do we want to jump into Would You Rathers?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Heather, why don't you, I think we got that graphic. Come on, graphic. Heather, why don't you kick us off?
Yes. I'm going to kick it off with a difficult one, or at least I think this is a difficult one. Would you rather have a personal housekeeper or a personal chef? And I am going to throw it to Anoush first.
Oh, I know my answer. I knew my answer immediately.
Really?
Yeah, I want a housekeeper. I want. It's not like I like cooking. I don't mind cooking. I don't feel burdened by it. I want my kitchen to be. I mean, my kitchen is very clean, but I want it to be magically. I want it to just be clean. Some wonderful person to I don't want a wonderful person to come clean my house, but if they were, that's what they did, and we had a good relationship, and I want that Nancy Meyer's kitchen to cook in. I want a clean, an orderly, or I just want an orderly house that and to know that the floor has been swept, and that if it weren't swept, it will be swept every Thursday or whatever. and it's if this were like a forever thing, housekeeper.
Okay.
And I would invite them to everything. They are part of the family. I will worship them, whatever they needed. Housekeeper.
Chat's got some strong opinions on this already.
Chat's got very strong opinions. Like, we have a clear winner already. Housekeeper times 1,000. Yeah, housekeeper. Yeah.
Joy going with, I think this is tough, but housekeeper because I never do it well. Yes, you do. I do it way worse.
So Dustin, what would your choice be?
My choice, this is gonna sound weird because I only eat 5 things, but I'm gonna go with personal chef because when you only eat 5 things, having those things be as good as they can possibly be,
I see, that makes sense.
like, would be great. And like, don't get me wrong, that chef would hate life because in the same way that, like, when I go to a steak house and they're like, how do you want it? And I say, well done. They're like, oh, fine. Okay. Like, because they know that like it's not supposed to be done that way, and I'm the wrong one here. So like I think the personal chef would be like, yeah, I can make like the the 10 things that you make, and like great, make them really well, and then I will enjoy every meal. Like Joy sometimes will make big ziti, and I love the big ziti that she makes. And there's always that part of my brain that's like, imagine if every meal was this way. I would enjoy eating so much more if every meal was like really good as opposed to like satisfactory. So if I had a personal chef and every meal could be like really good, that would be super cool. Like I wouldn't like cleaning. And admittedly, I'm sure Joy somewhere in the chat already is going to be like, yeah, because she does most of the cleaning. So in my defense, I don't see the dirt. So I would try and clean if I could see the dirt more.
Wow.
So
wow.
I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying, like, I don't. When she's like, "Oh, there are dust bunnies," I was like, "I don't see them. I will try, but I don't see where they are." So I'm gonna go with personal chef. What about you, Heather? Let me give another point to housekeeper because chat.
Oh my god,
this
is so funny because when I saw this question, I still find this question so difficult because I don't cook. I can't. It's not that I'm like opposed to cooking. I've just never learned how, and I don't think I'd be good at it. And I don't know. I love the concept of like coming home and being like, well, this is what I feel like eating, and I'm vegetarian, so I'd rather not this, or I'd love to try it to be vegan, and like I don't have to worry about like it. It's just someone's there and it's made. But it's so funny because I was talking to my husband earlier, and it was like, he brought up the point, and he's 100% correct. Who's cleaning that? Like, yeah, the personal chef makes your food and it's great, and then you got to clean it. And I do not enjoy cleaning. I don't think anyone enjoys cleaning. Maybe there are people who enjoy. I mean, I assume there are people who enjoy it, but I do not enjoy it. I hate doing dishes. It's all a chore. It's never fun.
I'd imagine people just do it because it being done feels so good. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's done. Great.
Sure. Yeah, and it's definitely.
It doesn't make you want to do it anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't make you want to do it, but like you do feel accomplished when it's done.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. But I do think there is something to be said that it is more. Yeah, it would be nice. Like I also think of this the time you would get back.
Yep.
So you're going with housekeeper.
I am going to go with housekeeper. Yeah.
Okay.
But for me, this was a tough one. I had to really like think about it. But I also have to be realistic that like, first of all, Chris cooks, so he can cook. You can always order food. You can't really, I mean, I guess you could task Rabbit a cleaner, but I don't want to do that, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Just jumping back over to chat for a minute because Julia is coming at me for the well done steak, and I realize that I'm wrong, but also that's how I like it. So I'm sorry that's I've done that. Justin is nice enough to refuse to steak shame me. I appreciate that. See, this is, my wife is a great cook, so I'm going to go with a personal chef. We each cook our own things, so like it's just sort of a different kind of thing. Cool. Do we want to move on to our next?
Sure.
Coming over to you, Anoush.
Okay, so I will. My question is: would you rather buy all used underwear or all used toothbrushes?
I hate this question.
So I'm buying them. I decided, right? This is something I want.
Right.
So I thought about this, and I feel like not like why would I buy them, but like what would I do with them, right? So I feel like if I had to have these either two of these horrible things, I'm sorry, I'm making an art project with them. I'm not going to just keep them in the house. I'm going to do something constructive with them. And I feel like dirty toothbrushes are things that I could work with more and will get grossed out by a thread.
But I'm gonna call you out on that though, because the assumption is that you can't like that you can only have these things. So all of your underwear, all of your toothbrushes are used, not just like some of them.
Oh, so I'm buying these things so I can use them.
Correct.
Okay.
So would you rather have somebody else's underwear on you all the time, or would you rather have somebody else's toothbrush in your mouth?
Now, I'm sure this is an obvious question, but I'm going to ask it.
No, it's not. It's not. Goddamn nightmare.
Both of these things that I buy, or either of these things, I can wash before I'm using them?
100%, yes.
Okay.
We got strong opinions. Joy is vomiting right now.
Joy, correct. Joy, that was my reaction when I saw this question.
So you got to pick. What do you? I mean, you can send it to one of us too. You can let it it's your prerogative to send it to one of us and get some input before you pick.
Okay, because I have a strong feeling, but I'd like to pass it off for a second. So Dustin, I would like to ask you.
So I was debating this pretty aggressively in my mind before I realized that to some degree, and this is not something I've ever spoken about before. To some degree, one of these choices has been made for me. In that, I typically drop my laundry off at the laundry place, and there was like a period of time where, you get the laundry back, and then you just sort of put it away. And I did discover upon putting on a pair of underwear that they were not mine, because I was like, when did I buy these? And I was like, oh no, I've never bought these. These were not mine. These are somebody else's underwear, and I still own them. So I'm going to go with underwear just because I've already sort of experienced that. So yeah, that seems like the way to go for me, because I already know what that's like. It's not great, and they're my least favorite pair of underwear, and I should throw them out. And I don't know why I haven't thrown them out. There are so many reasons that I could correct this, and I've opted for none of them. But I'm gonna go with used underwear because I've already done it. So please, nobody use that against me, even though I know that you will.
Well, as soon as I heard you say that, you've made me recall an incident of my own. Because we also used to send our laundry out to get cleaned. And so whether it's an actual Armenian word or not, or it's just because some Armenian words are more commonly used in Armenia, and some are used as Armenian in America. So with how I grew up, a word for underwear is vardik. And if you are in Armenia, it will be like trutsig. So anyway, so we refer to pieces of underwear in our house as vardiks. So I remember there was this time where I got a gray pair of underwear with, like, they had little black bows on it, and it wasn't mine. And something that and it was clean, it was washed, and something that my husband referred to as a rogue vardik. I kept it, and I think I even wore it once. So I feel like that's something I could do.
Right. So you got to go. You got to go underwear too.
I'm going to go with underwear. That's my long way of saying underwear, with threw a little culture in there, just to give you an idea, so you'd understand why it was called a rogue vardik. And I feel okay about that too. Yeah.
Heather?
So as you know, I think I said this to you yesterday too. I hate this question with the fire of 1,000 suns. It's horrifying. It is all kinds of disgusting. That being said, I considered the ways to disinfect underwear and my thoughts on how to disinfect a toothbrush. And I've thought of through the years, like dirty underwear versus nasty ass toothbrushes. Morning Roast brought up in the chat a very good point also about toilet poop particles getting on your toothbrush. That's a real thing. This is a real thing.
Right. For the record, though, that's why they have the seat, not so you sit on it, so that you block the poop from getting out.
Yes, but
that's why you should always close it.
Nobody uses them. Like, people are always just like, seat up, flush that.
We do. We do every time. Every time.
Same. But most people do not. Most people do not. So I'm thinking about like nasty smelling toothbrushes, just nasty. In the interest of time, I'm going to say I'm thinking of the ways to disinfect both underwear and toothbrushes, and I'm going to go with underwear because I feel more confident about my ability to, with my own hands, disinfect a pair of underwear than I do about trusting that I have successfully disinfected a toothbrush. I feel like if I got someone's nasty dental toothbrush with their nasty ass non-flossed whatever mouth on it, I don't trust that even putting it in like hydrogen peroxide for a half hour is going to take that. Like, I still don't trust it.
Okay.
So I'm going with underwear.
All right.
I will hate it, but I'm going to go with underwear.
Morning Roast is throwing out a question before we move on to the next one, which I think is a solid one. Would you rather have to use the same pair of underwear for the rest of your life, or every day wear a stranger's underwear?
Can they be clean? Can it be clean?
Yeah, it can be clean.
I guess you'd have to wash it.
If it's clean, I think I'd just go with the same pair.
I'm with Heather.
Yeah. But I'm not like, as long as I don't have to wear the underwear like from the person immediately, like from their butt onto my butt, then I could do the strangers thing. But I'd rather I think I'd sooner pick the same underwear.
And Joy is pointing out that she thinks the arguments are sound, but she's still vomiting in her mouth a little bit, which is fair.
No butt to butt. Yes, that's correct, Joy. Yes. That is my platform, and I'm sticking to it.
Make your t-shirts. Joy is pointing out that they sell underwear at Goodwill, which means a lot of people have actually chosen the other people's underwear option.
True. Yeah.
And that Twitchers sell their used underwear. Yeah, a very specific collection of Twitchers. Like, not all Twitchers.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah. We have so many hashtags going for the show.
Earn the purr. Butt to butt.
Earn the purr.
All right, which brings us to our last would you rather of the day. And that is, would you rather go back to kindergarten with all of the information that you know right now and sort of restart your life with all that information, or learn everything that you will ever learn in the future and get that information right now and then proceed in the future? For the purposes of this, let's ignore the I will live longer if I go back to kindergarten part of it, because like that's an unfair advantage to the go back to kindergarten, because you're like, well, I can, like I'll live another, however many years you are minus 5. So like, let's not take that into consideration. But would you, like, do you think you'd benefit more, or however you want to handle it? I'll send it to you, Heather, with that conceit.
So question, if you go back to kindergarten, are you going back as the age you are now, or is your brain erased and like you're going back to being a child and this child just has the knowledge?
I think the child has I think you can have the joy of being a 5-year-old, but you also have all that knowledge, and you might not have that joy because like
that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
So that is 100%. My answer really hinges on that, because I would not choose then being a kindergartner, because I don't think that kids should have to like know everything. I think that's awful, and I think that they should be allowed to have that innocence, and that like kids don't need to know the shitty parts of life yet, so they don't need to know all that stuff yet. Let them just enjoy.
Yeah.
I know. I see.
Right. My favorite one is the one from Joy. Kindergarten, I have to come up to deliver.
Yes.
This is the most aggro comment Joy's put in the chat so far.
True. That's true. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
No, I think I would rather. Yeah, I would not want to be a kid and have all this like because my brain is immediately going towards the heavy. Kids don't need to know things. Yeah, you know what? Kids don't need to know the dark. Kids could know cool shit,
Right.
but I don't think kids need to know about all the dark stuff that's going to happen just yet. I feel like we have to, I don't know, I think you have to go through stuff first to like learn and discover that stuff. So I'm going to go with know everything now that I will ever know. Yes, it's a little sad because I do enjoy learning. Like, I think that's one of the great joys of life is like learning new things and learning new things when you least expect it and you like learn a thing. But I think I'll be fine learning a thing and like being like, all right, I've learned the things.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
All right. Chat once again saying Heather Jules Booth, we do. Kids should only know cool shit.
That's right.
It's
That's
fair.
right.
Yeah.
They're kids. Kids only need to know the cool shit right now.
Hashtag or in the dark.
Hashtag or in the dark stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Anoush, what about you?
I would rather know everything. I'd go not kindergarten. I would not go back to kindergarten. Just because, I feel like if I know, well, kind of adding to what Heather was saying, in addition to all of that, I would also know when all of the people I loved were going to die. I'd learn. That's something I thought I'd probably learn. I'd probably also learn, but I'd probably learn some good things, like the people, what will be accomplished? What will we find out was just not worth worrying about, that we're worrying about so much right now, or me personally, or what really good things will happen? Like, God forbid you think of a good thing that could actually happen, so you kind of, I think it would make me braver.
Okay. Awesome.
Or, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic, actually. If you could just know what's going to happen. All right. I'm having a donut then, and I'm going to sit down and have, and I'm slice me a slice of that thing, and sure, I'll be an extra on that show because I don't care, whatever, like just have a little more fun, God forbid,
Okay, cool.
You find out that it's not as big of a deal as you think it is.
Cool. I am gonna go. So we already have two for know everything that I'll ever know. I'm gonna go with kindergarten. And I forget who in chat pointed out the question of, is it kindergarten back in the day, or is it kindergarten now? Yeah. I'm in, just for the sake of like, because we have to pick one, I'm going to say kindergarten back in the day. So like you're starting, you're starting in, whatever year you were born. I think there were so many. I think having that information now, I can have a greater impact on my life, on like my success and all of those different things, because I know where things are going to go. Like if I learn everything I'm going to learn in the future, then I basically did I kind of like miss my window to like become a success at X or do Y. So like I feel like I can impact the quality of my life more if I know what I know now when I was in kindergarten, and like, start doing comedy at a different age, or like focus on X or Y, or go to like this school or go to that school, or whatever. Like things that I know now were more important than I realized that they were, and I could coast through school because I already know all the school stuff. I mean, I know some of the school stuff. I know enough of the school stuff that I could probably get by and figure out where I can just sort of blow things off. So once again, I guess I'm going to go against. Chat seemed to be a little bit all over the place on this one. So for the sake of the tie, and since I control the buttons, I'm going to say the chat went with kindergarten.
I think chat went with kindergarten for the most part. Yeah.
Cool. And the question of
so much. I'm just thinking of all the construction paper, all the juice boxes.
Right. That'd be super fun. It'd be super fun. The thing that would scare me would be all the like term papers and shit that you had to write, like all that stuff where it's like, I don't want to do that again. But
No,
I feel like I could make it work. I would also eat so many Doritos because none of them stayed on until I got much older. So I would appreciate what good metabolism is while I could.
I see, yeah.
That's a worthwhile one. Yeah.
Yeah. Which brings us to the end of our show. Thank you guys so much for being here. Anoush, tell people where they can find out more about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, to see for cartoons, Anoush talks to stuff.wordpress.com.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my Instagram handle is Anoush talks to stuff. If you are ever at in Lakefield, Connecticut, or at the Salisbury General Store and Gifts, I have a shelf with my own greeting cards there that you can peruse.
Nice.
And yeah, that's
cool.
So yeah. Any announcement, Anoush talks to stuff. You'll get this. You'll get the news there.
Okay. And James Bond villain, where can people see more about what you're doing?
Well, you can find me in Shot for Shot, The Greatest Showman, this Saturday, April 2nd. We're going to attempt to finally do it. We'll see if it happens. I think there's a couple more Shot for Shots coming up as well. So check out the Armory lists the Shot for Shot dates. It's on Instagram as well. But that's where you can.
Heather, every time, like, I'll be watching a movie and I'll think, oh my God, if they do a Shot for Shot, Heather could play this role. Like, that's how I think about this. I think about like, or if we're watching a movie and I'll point to be like, Heather, like, it just like, because it's a great show, Shot for Shot, and the whole concept is fun. So it kind of gives a freedom to.
That's one of the things I really love about it is like that open casting of like we can end up in all kinds of roles, which I love. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
thank you. Rufus likes it too, so you've earned the purr.
For me, we'll be back on Thursday with the next episode of How Should I Know. I normally like to tip the cast on this point, but I've been a slacker and I still have one more slot to fill. So we're close, but hopefully by tomorrow we'll be able to have that information. But definitely check that show out on Thursday, and don't forget to actually follow the Super Important Stuff Instagram account to get updates on who our guests are going to be. And I shared like a picture of like the setup here so people could see all the different buttons that I have to hit and all that, and it was a good time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Anoush, thank you for being here and being amazing.
Thank you.
And check out her website, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody.